Democrats love to consolidate power, which is why after they win elections, you often see them trying to change the rules just to make it more difficult for an opposition party to exist. And this is exactly what we're seeing being discussed by Don Lemon, D.L. Hughley, and Jasmine Crockett, right? The brain trust of the left. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
How are you doing, Congresswoman?
I'm here.
You're okay? Are we going to be okay?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I absolutely believe we're going to be okay. Now, when we going to be okay, I'm not really sure. I've been telling people that I absolutely believe that the next election, no matter who the Democratic nominee is, they're going to win. And I got real analysis. I'm not just trying to hype y'all. And that don't mean don't go vote. But when I think about the fact that there was a junior senator that had only been elected for 2 years and was a black man, and he got elected to the presidency, that was only when shit hit rock bottom, right? It was George Bush killed everything. So they was okay, we'll take the black man. So then same thing happened with Joe Biden. When you think about it, Joe Biden had run for president not once, not twice, but this was his third time. Then the country was like, you know what, Joe, we got you, right? So I think that we are going to be in such a destitute position that even the haters going to be like, we don't care who it is. It's just got to be somebody from the other party.
But that's why
they're saying they can't see over there. That's what they're saying.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'll finish it so it'll be clear. The only problem I have with that, the one thing I've learned from Trump and Republicans, if you have power, use it. Mm-hmm. I think one of the first things, I would like a progressive Trump. I would like somebody who used the executive pen to say, you know what, we're going to make D.C. a state.
Yeah.
We're going to make Puerto Rico state.
Yeah.
We're going to abolish the electoral college.
Yeah.
We're going to enshrine protections for women in the Constitution.
Yeah.
We're going to roll back, because the very
we're going to add more judges on the Supreme Court.
Exactly.
That part. Yes.
So
and guardrails. Right. And guardrails.
Right. I don't want just it to be a default situation. The one thing, without a death, there can't be a resurrection. And the way that we have seen things, they have showed me one thing clearly: get the fuck what you want.
Yep.
And fuck with the people who fuck with you, and leave everybody else alone.
That's exactly what they've done.
You can't be the president for everybody.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right, because I think what Democrats do is they get into power and they're pretty timid about the things that they will do. And I'm like, if evil can go this hard, then surely we can go half as hard for good, right? So I think that it is incumbent upon Democrats to recognize that once that pendulum does shift, we can't just take it for granted and think that we're going to hold on to it.
Right.
We absolutely have to be aggressive about pushing forward with policies. So for instance, as we're talking about quorum breaks, in 21, when I broke quorum, we went to D.C. We said we need to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act as well as the Freedom to Vote Act. If they would have passed Freedom to Vote, then Elon couldn't have bought the election. If they would have passed the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, we wouldn't be in this redistricting war, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, y'all didn't want to listen. They had every lever of government, but this Jim Crow filibuster was something that they just could not shake.
No.
And because they couldn't shake the filibuster, we have lost out on our access to really the thing. You can't get anything that you want if you don't have representation. And right now they are trying to delete the people's voices, specifically starting in Texas, but they are going throughout the entire country.
Okay, so Jasmine Crockett thinks the Democrats are being too timid whenever they're in the majority, right? We'll get back to that. But first, I want to focus on, notice how she mentioned that, surely, if evil can be used in this way, referring to the Republicans, then we can use all of the same exact power for good. And this reminds me, of course, of the words of Charles Krauthammer, right? We think that the left is dumb and misguided, right? But they think that we're actually evil. And of course, what's the antidote to evil? You have to stamp it out by whatever means necessary, okay? And that's how they view us. That's how they view the opposition party. And of course, they're saying, if only the Democrats would wield power the same way as the Republicans. Yeah, right. Okay, Donald Trump consistently has impediments put before him by his own party, by the rhinos and obstructionists in his own party. That's why he can't get a lot of his nominations through. That's why a lot of these bills take forever to get through Congress, okay? Because there actually are people within the own party opposed to Donald Trump, and he has to overcome that and then overcome the Democrats as well. And D.L. Hughley saying, you know what, if we learn one thing from Republicans, it's that when you have power, you have to use it. As if Joe Biden didn't, right? Just some of the things he did, right? The unconstitutional student loan payoff program, where the Supreme Court had to step in and say, hey, you can't actually do that. And then Joe Biden found a workaround. That was wielding power, right? And then, of course, you also have the changes to Title IX to, of course, allow the transgenders into the girls' sports and all that stuff. That was power he wielded. And, of course, opening the borders for millions upon millions of illegals to flood into this country and then providing them with housing, food, transportation, money, right? That was Joe Biden wielding authority. So don't sit there and say that only Republicans wield authority or power when Democrats take it to the extreme. But Jasmine Crockett was correct about something, right? When the nation hits rock bottom, that's when they're ready for change. And Joe Biden was that rock bottom, right? That's why they had to switch out for Kamala Harris, just to give them a chance against Donald Trump. And she still lost. And by the way, Obama was also rock bottom. That's why Donald Trump got elected the first time around. And by the way, Jimmy Carter was also rock bottom. That's how we got Ronald Reagan. Okay, so yes, there is going to be Democrat control eventually. It's going to happen. However, it's not going to be until they actually wake up and start changing some of their positions and come back to the center. All right. And of course, a lot of this is also predicated on the economy. If Donald Trump pulls off a strong economy and these tariffs actually work and people's lives actually improve, then there's no way a Democrat is going to win in this next election cycle. But if the Democrats do gain power again, notice the big changes being pushed for by this channel, right? Making D.C. and Puerto Rico a state, two places that are completely blue that would give the Democrats a majority in the Senate and extra seats in the House. Okay, then of course you have getting rid of the electoral college, our whole system that ensures it's not simply just a mob rule in this country. And of course, expanding the Supreme Court because you don't like that conservative lean that we have right now. And then of course, also getting rid of the filibuster just to make sure there is no actual opposition in Congress. These are the changes they want the Democrats to make just to give them permanent control of this country. But Jasmine Crockett pipes it and says, oh, we have to have guardrails. Those are the guardrails. Those are the things that make sure that we don't have simple mob rule. But I guess it's a heck of a lot easier to try to consolidate that power than to try to win elections, because in order to win elections, you have to actually have a platform that the American people want. You have to have a message that the American people agree with. And you have to have policy that can be enacted that will actually help American people in their everyday lives. And this is something Republicans have done over and over and over again in order to win elections. But it's something the Democrats have always tried to stop with all of these crazy expansions that they're talking about on stage at this moment. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me. Do you like t-shirts? Of course you do. And now you can support the channel by buying an Angry Teacher t-shirt designed by me, Angry Teacher. So if you like America, if you like freedom, if you like liberty, then go ahead and click the link in the description where all designs, of course, are 100% mother approved. So enjoy yourself and find something you like today.